Okay, first up is this thrifted little box. So it had pears on it, and it was like a greenish color. And I've already put a coat of primer on it. I put a coat on this buttercream. Hello everybody, my name is Shayna and welcome to my channel. This is Robinson Repurposing, where I take furniture and flip it, thrift items and flip them, Dollar Tree items, do some Dollar Tree DIYs, all that kind of thing. So if you like that, definitely stay here, watch some videos on my channel. I have a lot of content that you can binge and subscribe, all the things, but let's go ahead and get into the rest of this. Okay, so I got it all painted up, and then I added this really pretty floral transfer with these cream colored flowers. And then I just took my time with the transfer. It doesn't look like it here because I sped this process up, so you wouldn't have to watch all that. It takes a little while to get that on. Just, be patient, like I always say, and make sure your paint is completely dry before you start. Obviously, that's a big help too. And then I took my antique wax there that I use pretty much on everything else you'll ever see me use it on in these videos, and I just very lightly distressed the edges, and then I went around and did the whole thing, but I made sure that my paintbrush had barely any paint on it at all, or wax on it at all. Okay, so after I got the edge parts, how I liked it, I went into that middle section, and as you can see there's like these raised details right there, and I really liked those. They actually went with the design really well of this floral transfer, and so I just kind of highlighted them with the wax a little bit, not like completely. And then I just repeated the same process on all the other sides, the front here, and then both the sides in the back, repeated the same process, and I love how this ends up turning out. Okay, and then here's a final look at how this one turned out. Like I said, I think it is so beautiful. I don't know, I just really like this. I don't need it, or I would definitely keep it, but I'm probably going to try to sell this in my booth, so if you're local, come grab it. And then moving on to this piece, I've had this in my craft stash for forever. It's just a little, it was blue, and it's like a little teapot, and it had some wording on it, but I forever ago painted it black, and it's just kind of got scratched up sitting in, the mess of my craft room. So I touched it up with some of that Dollar Tree black paint, which I don't really like that Dollar Tree black paint for anything else, but to touch this up, it actually worked out really well. The hardest part is deciding where you want the transfers. Sometimes I don't use transfers just for the mere fact that they stress me out as far as like the placement, because I'm like, once I put it down, it's done. I have to leave it there. But then other times, like today, I was like, you know what, just do it, because you've been having these things sit here forever. Just do something. So that's what ended up happening. Same with the box. It's like hard to know if the placement looks good, but yeah, you can see me there. I was like getting stressed. But anyway, I just did it because I was like, I have to get these things done and do something with them. I kind of wish I would have left it like that, but I do add another little floral piece right here, but it's still really cute. With that one, I ended up adding it to the top, but as you can see here, I was stressing. And then I took some of my buttercream paint, kind of just what was left on my paintbrush, and just dry brushed it across the top of this, because for some reason I wanted it to like look distressed, but obviously if I sanded it, it was going to bring back the blue color that was underneath this. So I just did the white with a dry brush, and I think this turns out so pretty. I don't think I've ever done this technique before with the white on top of black, but I really like how it looks. Then I used my gloss Mod Podge to seal this up. You can use Mod Podge, that's hard to say. You can use Mod Podge to seal these, or you can use polyacrylic, like satin or semi-gloss or anything, but Mod Podge work. Oh my gosh, Mod Podge works too. Okay, and then here's a final look at how this one turned out. I think it's super cute. Like I said, I really like the white over the black technique. Let me know how you feel about it, if you like that look or if you've ever done it before. Okay, and then moving on to this frame. I've had this sitting in my craft room for a long time as well, and I just never quite finished it because it doesn't have glass on the front, so I wasn't sure what to do. Well, I decided to use Mod Podge. I decided to dump a whole bottle on it, actually, of Mod Podge. No. Anyway, I accidentally did that there, so I tried to just scrape it back into the can jar there, as you can see. Anyway, so what I do here is I Mod Podge this onto the cardboard because it was already glued down. So I just went ahead and put Mod Podge on the top. Okay, and then after I got all the Mod Podge on and then dried it, I used my heat gun, which the heat gun doesn't really work to dry Mod Podge, but anyway. And then I took my antique wax and just tried to do a light distressing, like on the edges and stuff, which I think I ended up getting too much on this, but I still think this turns out really cute. I love the saying. It's a Dixie Chicks song. I got this off Etsy. I bought it from a shop on there and then just printed it out with a computer paper. That was it, and I Mod Podged it on here. And like I said, I made one before, and it turned out better because the frame had glass and everything. But anyway, this one is still cute. I should have stopped like 2 minutes ago with the distressing, but you know how it is. Anyway, I might sell this in my booth. I might keep it since I'm not in love with it. And I just put it back in the frame. And a while back, I actually painted this frame. I used white paint, and then I used a little bit of like the gold colored, what's it called? Antique, what's it called? Rub and Buff. And I used that on the edges, so it gave it like a little bit of a golden distressed look. Okay, and here's a look at how this one turned out. I actually really do like it. The Mod Podge and the wax gave it like a really good textured look. Okay, and then moving on to this one. So this here, I tried to stamp a chicken onto it, and it didn't stick, so I had to do something. I'm gonna have to do something else to it. Okay, so I've had this pig transfer forever, and I have loved it the whole time, but I just haven't figured out anything to use it on, so I decided this was like the perfect size to put on this little tile piece, so that's what I'm gonna do. And as you can see there, I debated back and forth on which one to use, and I decided to go with that little baby piglet looking one with the wreath all the way around it. I think this is just so cute. I don't really decorate with like pigs and stuff and farmhouse stuff like that anymore, but it's still really cute, and I know there's people out there who still do like it, so I'll definitely put this in my booth when I'm done with it. Once again, as I mentioned before, just take your time with the transfer. It's a little bit tedious. Sometimes it's very slow, hard to get on. This one was very hard. I don't know if it's because it was a glossy surface, but it took me a little bit to get that one on there, but it's worth it in the end. It's so cute. Okay, and I used that same Mod Podge to seal this, and then here's a look at how this little cutie turned out. And then I'm throwing in this little bonus furniture flip. I don't normally have furniture flips in with like a thrift flip video, but I'm throwing it in here today. So this shelf here is a custom order for someone that wanted me to paint, wash, / stain this. So it was raw wood, which was like the ideal project piece. Like it was already raw wood. All I had to do was just sand it down a little bit. So I used like I think 120 grit or lower maybe, or I mean higher, like 200-ish. I don't know, my sandpaper numbers are weird, but around that range. So I wasn't trying to scuff it up. I was just trying to smooth it up, you know? And there was a little spot over there where I'm at now that had like a little indentation. So I smoothed that all out, then cleaned it all up really, really well with white lightning cleaner. That's what that is in that bottle there. Okay, and then the first step after all of that is to remove the hardware on the cupboards. And then next, I went in the house and got my chocolate. That's the color Chocolate by Dixie Belle. I had a goofy tripod today. He was like, you know, being silly. Because I didn't want to set up my actual tripod, so I just asked him real quick to video for me for this part so I can show you guys. I just added water to that and mixed it up. I mean, I don't really know how else to explain this. That's all I did. And then I actually ended up adding a little bit more water. So this thing was like filled to the brim, but ignore my dirty laundry room as well. Well, it's not dirty, it's just full of laundry. But anyway, so then I just took that wash and washed this whole thing, or you could kind of say stain. I didn't really wipe it off though, so it's more of like a wash paint technique. I do wipe it down in a few places, though at some point, like with a paper towel, where if I got it on like too thick. And then after I got the whole thing painted with chocolate, I don't have video footage of the rest of the process because I video on my iPad, and the whole thing actually fell and broke while I was videoing this, so that was really frustrating. But all I did for the rest of this was same exact process that I just showed you, but with black paint. And then I just dry brushed, lightly washed the rest of it with black. So I did the brown and then the black. And that's how I achieved this look here. And then I just sealed the whole entire thing with satin polyacrylic. And that's all there was to this. And I love how this turned out. It being raw wood made this project like so much more fun. I didn't have to sand the whole thing down to get this look. So definitely whenever you can get a raw wood piece, it's amazing. So anyway, this was a custom job for someone, like I said, and it's gonna go in her bathroom. And I think I'm really happy with how this turned out. Holy, I fell over. What? That was about bad.